Welcome back to the 128 KB podcast. We are back once again.
Due to lack of popular demand.
Yes, and that demand is so lacking that we're sat here in jumpers?
In jumpers? Because the demand is lacking? Or because it's cold?
Can I just address a comment that came in recently on the news channel?
Yeah,
Well,
please
I'm
do.
thinking about it, laughing at myself.
Okay, yeah.
There was a comment that said, these videos would be a lot more enjoyable if you stopped with the fake laughing.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
I don't think they realise that I quite often say stupid things and laugh at myself.
Yes, yeah. It's the same with me when I said poo in a controller review. And then I couldn't keep myself together.
We should take gaming content more seriously because
yes.
it's serious.
It's very serious.
This is very serious.
We need to be
stuff.
like BBC News.
Yes,
Yeah.
Suits.
Yes, Suits and a paid subscription only.
What? OnlyFans?
Yes.
We're going to do OnlyFans.
That's what BBC is, isn't it?
You're going to do the full?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
with a suit on.
Oh,
But just,
crotchless
yeah,
suits.
exactly, yeah. Like, those Western trousers?
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
You wear the crotch and the bums out.
Yeah,
What's with that,
I don't
cowboys?
think that's real.
Oh, is it
I
not?
think that's just in dirty films.
Oh, okay. I genuinely thought they were to go over like jeans.
I think they are, yeah.
Right.
I'm just trying to embarrass you.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm not embarrassed. It's fine. I'd rock a pair of those.
So, yes, this is your weekly dose of us talking about all things
Yes,
gaming.
indeed.
For you Spotifyers, for you YouTubers, it's just another video. And welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
How's your week in gaming been?
Been really good. Really fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Oh, well, it's kind of like one of the main points of this entire show.
Oh, we don't want to spoil too much, but, just a little precursor.
I've been playing Final Fantasy VII. Oh, Rebirth.
Bingo
On
card.
PC.
Bingo
The
card.
definitive edition, if you will.
Oh, yes, you got Xenoblade on it, have you?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of what we're getting at today is like PC gaming.
Mm.
And I think Rebirth's really kind of switched me onto this. It's kind of like the definitive way to play anything now.
Pretty much, yeah.
And as everyone's migrating towards it, all of the main publishers and platforms,
Yeah. They're all embracing.
suddenly, like it's like definitive gaming.
Yes.
I don't know, it's always been like the best way to play everything.
Yes.
So it kind of feels a bit stupid saying it.
Yeah, but it's been the most inaccessible
Yeah,
option, hasn't
exactly.
it? It's been the biggest faff.
Yeah, it's been the biggest faff. And it's been definitive, but not always everything available.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So now suddenly it feels like it's found itself almost accidentally in the mainstream
Yeah.
rather than, something exclusively for people that want to really nerd out.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Totally agree.
How's my week in gaming been? Well, thanks for asking.
Yeah. How has it been?
Guess what?
What?
Guess what I've been doing?
I don't know.
It's really not a surprise for like the past few weeks. It's been the same thing.
Playing Road 96.
No.
Okay.
No. I gave up on that pretty
Stellar
quickly.
Blade.
No.
Oh, I saw the box in your. On
I
your
know.
desk.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
That was there to try and inspire me to play. And
But you were just staring at the artwork.
I was just
instead.
staring at the artwork. Let's be honest. Yeah.
I don't know. Enlighten me.
It's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Well,
Oh, come on.
little
Yeah, I
bit
should have
addicted.
guessed that.
I actually also on Xbox downloaded because it's on Game Pass. I was like, do you know what? I've not played Battlefield in a long time.
I thought you were going to say Ninja Gaiden.
No,
Okay.
Ninja Gaiden. No, I want to play 4 when it comes out,
Yeah.
but 2 doesn't excite me in the same way.
I downloaded it.
Yeah, because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that developer direct in a
Yes.
minute.
Yeah.
But so I downloaded Battlefield, the 20, whatever it is,
20,
40s,
22, 24.
I always get the number
42.
wrong.
I've never known the number. It's just Battlefield, isn't it?
Because as I've said before, when it comes to first-person shooters, I was always a Battlefield fan over a
Yes.
Call of Duty fan.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it now out loud.
Oh.
I was wrong.
Oh, have you converted?
I've
Are
converted.
you finally on the same track as me with this?
Well, Battlefield entirely relies on you playing with people.
Yes. Yeah.
That like you're co-oping with.
Yeah. You need an actual team that.
You need an actual team that all work together.
Yes.
Because it relies on the different classes all working together in order for you to actually make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you've got a squad of, if there's more than 2 of you, there's 3 or 4 ideally, it is an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it is cool. It looks amazing. I forgot how good it looks. I'll give them that. And how like bombastic and like you're in a actual war. Stuff's blowing up. Things are, and you got vehicles. It's really cool. It's a lot slower.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like the spawning and the like rebooting it.
Yeah.
I mean, like the movement is really slow.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you've played a lot of Call of Duty recently,
it feels horrible, doesn't it?
Feels horrible.
Yeah. That was my first experiences with Battlefield.
Oh, come on. Why am I so tanky?
Yep. That was always been the case for me. I've always been a Call of Duty player.
Yeah.
And then whenever I've tried like to play Battlefield, I'm like, what is with this? I feel like I'm walking in mud.
The only enjoyable experience you can have on your own with it is if you play the class Recon, which is obviously sniper.
Right. Yeah, I suppose.
Because it's quite suited. You can sit there and you can pick people off, and it's quite fun. Yeah, camping. Because then you're not worried about the movement.
Yeah.
And obviously jumping in like a plane or tank or whatever, it can be fun, but it gets boring pretty quickly.
Yes.
The other thing I've noticed with Battlefield that's changed is clearly there's a lot of Call of Duty players that are playing it now.
Right.
And I say this purely because everyone is playing
like Call of
Duty.
Got you.
So no one's playing the class systems, no one's reviving, no one's dropping ammo, no one's spotting. There's all these things that are really important to how that game works that no one's doing.
Yeah, they're just running around. Yeah.
And there was also like, if you're playing in a small group, obviously you can talk to each other.
Yes.
But the rest of the team, the other 64 players that are on your team, you can do like text commands to like need ammo, need support, whatever.
Yeah.
So when you're playing Recon, you're going to run out of ammo real quick because you're not dying.
Yeah.
So you're calling out for ammo and no one's doing anything.
Yeah.
You die in a group of people and you're pressing X to be revived.
Yeah.
No one's doing anything. Like, this is so annoying.
I love that. That's hilarious.
So that was quite short-lived. And then I jumped back in. And obviously there's the new season on Call of Duty now. So there's new multiplayer maps.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is like playing Call of Duty for the very first time all over again. As in like, it sucks hard.
But
because you don't know where you're going.
Are you playing hardcore?
Yeah.
So there's new hardcore maps?
Yes.
Because what is with Call of Duty and not putting all the maps in hardcore?
They are now.
Okay.
They are
because
now.
Even the latest one, whatever it is, Blops 6.
Blops.
Yeah. I found, because I only play hardcore.
There's a weird rotation they do.
Yeah, it's the same like three maps.
Yeah, basically you end up playing Nuketown all day, every day.
Nuketown, the one with the like airplane crashed outside and there's like a bunker thing that you can open the doors.
Scud,
like whatever it is. That one always comes up. There's a couple of others, but I swear it's just the same like 4 maps on rotation, and that is it. I'm like, there's more maps than this, surely.
Yeah, there is. They've got better. The rotation seems to, I think they've improved that.
Right, okay.
Because there were some maps that would never come up when you're playing hardcore.
Yeah.
And like the really small compressed ones.
Yep.
Like Stakeout isn't a good example of that.
Steakhouse, that sounds good.
Steakhouse, it's just obviously a tasty place to play.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's just like 2 apartments that are next to each other and you're just in a square.
Yeah.
It rarely comes out in hardcore.
Yeah, okay.
It starts to come out more because in normal mode, whatever that's called, core.
I'd say hard mode because no one dies.
Because no one dies. It's harder.
Yeah.
But also there's no friendly fire in that.
Okay.
So you can just splam, you can chuck grenades and it doesn't matter.
Right, okay.
But in hardcore, obviously, there's friendly fire, isn't there? So those really small maps are really
difficult.
Like, tactical, difficult. So there's more maps that have been added to the new season. There's a couple that are really small like that. One's on a boat.
Okay.
Like on a little like yacht.
Yeah.
It's mental. And like you're
cool.
like move die.
That's
like, what's going on? Proper hardcore. And you have that. It's quite nice actually because obviously you've been playing these maps now for like 2 months, quite a lot.
Yeah.
So these new ones come in and it's like, it's like day one again.
Yeah. No,
that's I don't know where I'm going.
What
I died.
Yeah. No, that's cool though. I like the variation because I hate it when I'll like play on an evening or something and then it's like, okay, I've seen 2 maps in 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, what is with this?
Can I just controversially say, can they get rid of Nuketown?
Yeah.
I'm so bored of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was a fan when it first came out, like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But now I'm like...
And I get why they brought it. It was like, Nuketown, and everyone's going to cheer because everyone remembers it.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's cool.
Like, some things should die in the past.
I like it. I think it's cool, but like just put it in once every like 100 games.
That's my point, really. Yeah. Well, once in a while. Oh, no way. I haven't played this in ages.
But when it's just all the time, it's like, I've just done this.
Yeah.
Like, give me something else.
Yeah,
like,
please.
You know, yeah, it's annoying. That one always kind of pisses me off a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's so small and I've done it to death. It's just boring now.
So with the update, there's obviously been huge problems with cheating, especially Warzone.
Is it you again?
It's me hacking everyone.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I believe they've given you the ability to turn off crossplay between PC and console now when you're on console.
Yes.
Which means that
if your butt hurt, you can play with the other noobs. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. It's a kind of a blunt way of trying to fight the cheating.
Yeah.
I know.
Or just to make people feel better about their playing,
Me.
I don't know, like why. I genuinely think it'd probably just be a skill-based thing as to why they've done that.
Yeah, it's primarily the problems come in ranked play as well.
Yeah.
Which I never play.
No.
Because you can keep your competitive nonsense.
Yeah.
It's a game you turn on when you want to play mindlessly for an hour.
Yes.
Just have fun with your mates, and that's it.
I think it's skill-based anyway, isn't it?
It is skill-based matchmaking, always, but
I think it just makes people feel better about themselves.
Yeah. I guess so.
I genuinely don't know why, other than the fact that there is a disconnect there. Like, you cannot compete with someone on a mouse and keyboard.
It's impossible.
Like, you can't. The accuracy is totally different.
Accuracy, the speed, like the polling rates and stuff. It's just you're like in a running race with someone driving.
Yeah.
The kind of idea of crossplay between console and PC with competitive games doesn't make sense.
Yeah, not competitively. When you're just playing cash, it's fine because most people, you're going to have a chance, and a lot of PC players are playing with a controller.
Yeah,
like hooked up to the telly or something. And even if not, maybe they just suck at mouse and keyboard, so you've got a chance. But competitively, I wouldn't go up against someone on a mouse and keyboard with a controller.
Well, the accuracy difference is just night and day, isn't it?
Like, I am 10 times better player with a keyboard and mouse. Like, unbelievable. Like, it's taken me, I've had to relearn how to play by playing with controller. Like, because I've always been keyboard and mouse FPS guy.
Yeah.
And basically with these handhelds, like, I'm now playing with controller all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm only really playing Call of Duty on my Ally X, which means I'm on a controller.
That's a really interesting kind of jumping off point into what we're talking about today, actually, is that I wasn't going to touch on this until like a little bit later on, but we're there now. It's interesting to see how much controller support is now there with PC gaming.
Yeah, it's mad.
But also how much more acceptable it is now as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, the accessibility of PC gaming, I think, has been the biggest surprise and success of the past kind of year. Things like, the full DualSense support for the PlayStation DualSense.
Oh, that's huge. I never thought PlayStation would release an app on PC that lets you utilize all the features. I thought that would be like, no, you're only getting you can use the controller, but it will just show up as generic controller, not like, okay, you've got haptic feedback, adaptive triggers and everything else on there. I never thought I'd see that day.
But like, PC gaming in general, just kind of embracing controller support.
Yeah, as well.
Really massive kind of shift.
Yeah, absolutely. It used to. I remember the days on Steam where you wouldn't see, like, games didn't even display what they would work with because it was assumed keyboard and mouse. Yeah. That's just how everyone played. If it was a fighting game or something, it might like allow, like sticks and proper arcade stuff. But controller support was never really there. And then it slowly started fading into half controller support.
Yes.
And then games would display it and it would have literally a control. It's still on there now, whereas a controller and it's slashed in half. Half of it's grayed out, half of it, and it's like partial controller support. Yeah. And then you're like, well, what's that mean? Like, I've got to like slam the keyboard with my foot whilst I'm trying to play with my controller. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what's going on here? It was like really weird. And then it was like full controller support, and it's like, oh, that's weird. Yeah. And then it was like games now, like Final Fantasy 7, when you load that up, it says this game is enjoyed best with a controller, and it basically forces you to use
controller first.
Yes,
that's huge.
So now we've seen a complete shift. Now, obviously, with PC, there's always going to be diehards with keyboard and mouse,
of course,
especially FPS games.
Well, it's better,
But with like RPGs or like chill games, especially with people throwing them onto the telly, you want a controller. Like with MMOs and stuff, different because you want keyboard bindings and God knows what, but general games, I think controller's the way to go. I'm defaulting to that. You know, when I hook my Ally X to my eGPU on my TV, I'm not sat there with a keyboard and mouse.
It's funny, there's a few
Sat there
people I
with a
talk to
controller.
that play on PC now, and they all use controller.
Yeah.
And that was just not even a year ago. That would just not be the case.
Yeah. If I went back in, like, time traveled and said to myself 5-10 years ago, you're going to be playing with a controller on your PC, I would have slapped myself. I would go,
and like weird things have changed. Like you'll be playing with a controller on your PC. It's just not going to happen. You'll be finding ways to display your PC on your TV. That was the exclusive thing for super nerds. I've got my PC attached to my TV.
Yeah.
Like if we went to someone's house and they had a PC attached to the TV, we'd be like, okay, Warcraft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like now it's way more more common.
Yeah.
And is it I'm trying to kind of ascertain, we'll go through like the things that have happened in the past week or so that kind of add into this.
Yes.
But is it that there's more accessible games on PC now? Is it because PCs are becoming easier to use? Is it more accessibility? Is it because they're cheaper, more understood? Like, what's the thing that's causing this to happen? Or was it loads of things?
I think it's all of it intertwined. Do you know what I mean? I really think it is. I think a lot of people are getting probably a bit upset by console experiences or having these walled gardens. That you had to have all three. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you think you've got to have an Xbox, you've got to have a PlayStation, you've got to have a Switch or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you add that up, you've got a PC. Like the cost here, and then you can play everything. Like whether that's legal or not, who knows? But you know, like really, people were getting annoyed waiting for the next PlayStation or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I just build a PC and I've already got like the PS7.
Yeah.
You know, so. I don't know. I don't know where this big shift, like, because PC gaming was always like, when you tell people you're a PC gamer, they'll be like, oh, so you're like a real nerd.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like not just like a casual gamer, but now it seems like everyone's kind of somewhere nearer that.
There was something that was announced, one of those kind of industry analysts. It was a bit boring. It's about the numbers and stuff.
Oh, fun.
About how much money was spent by gamers in different sectors. And they were looking at December specifically.
Yeah.
And they go year by year. And over the past 5 years, PC gaming has outstripped console gaming by like 4 times the amount of spending. It was like the numbers disparity was huge.
Yes.
Mobile was the biggest by a long way.
Yeah, but
how much
discount
that? And that's because everything's in-app purchases on mobile.
Yeah.
But PC gamers, how much they spend on games, so on the actual software and anything inside the software as well, was like 4x.
Oh, absolutely. The amount of games I've bought on PC that I've never played is unbelievable.
So I think that there's partly what the kind of publishers are looking at and going, actually, what's taking over the home isn't the console anymore.
Yeah.
It's actually the PC,
and
that's taking over the home space. But obviously, when you talk, I think because PC is such a broad term for loads of platforms, basically.
Yeah.
It's hard for it to get the same oxygen like online and in the different like publications as like PlayStation, because it's a very closed, simple to understand.
You know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know the games are attached to it and the accessories, and it's just that thing. Whereas PC is so broad. Like people could be playing on like a freaking Chromebook. They could be playing on a 10 grand PC. They could be playing on.
So part of it, I think, is like the publishers are looking again. This is a better way to make money.
Yeah.
But also, you're right about also from a gamer's perspective, there's a frustration. Not just, walled gardens is something I'll talk about in a minute, but the actual experience of the console, it's easy, wicked.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm going to talk about this specifically because we've both now experienced it. We've both experienced very different versions of the game.
Yeah.
And it's that frustration, I think, is making a lot of people look to PC and go, maybe that's just better.
Yes.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PlayStation. And bear in mind, for those of you new to the channel, it is my favourite game franchise of all time. Like, I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Regular viewers know.
It's
all I talk about. You'll look at any video that I'm in and there'll be a Final Fantasy VII something somewhere in it.
It's the only game he's ever played.
It's the game I've played the most by far. Absolute deep love for it. So obviously, day one, I'm like, PS5, I'm buying that game, I'm playing that, and I'm smashing through it. I had such a miserable experience with it that it left me thoroughly disappointed. I loved the story. I loved what the developers had done, but the limitations of the PS5 hardware were upsettingly bad.
Yeah.
It looked like it was running at like 540p. If you ran it in graphics mode, it was unplayable.
Yeah.
Choppy, like frame stuff. It was awful.
Have you been talking to Mark Cerny there? Choppy.
Choppy.
Yeah.
We know what likes choppy. Well, good one, Mark Cerny. You made a whole console for it.
That's its unique selling feature.
Yeah.
Choppy.
So you had to play it in performance mode, which I'm pretty sure it was 540. It must have been. It stretched out to your 4K TV. It was awful.
Yeah, nice.
Or, like, just such a miserable experience. Like playing some of the later releases on Switch. Like bad when you put it on your TV. Now you compare that to the experience that even people with like not like super bleeding edge PC rigs, like mid-range, the recommended settings.
Yeah. Well, minimum requirement's only like a 2060.
Right.
So it's not even like demanding.
This was the thing that started to annoy me. When I was seeing firstly the preview footage of like minimum settings, and I know they dress things up a little bit.
Yeah, they cherry pick shots.
Cherry pick shots. And it was like, this is it running on a 2060. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? That's better than it on PS5 in graphics mode.
Yeah.
It looks better and it seems to be running smoother. Yeah, so that was the first kind of annoyance. And then actually seeing people running it. And it's not a game that isn't without its problems.
Yeah.
Like from the Unreal Engine that's built in it does have like inherent flaws.
Yes.
But the night and day difference between like what your experience is, and you're running it on your Ally X through your 4070 eGPU?
Yep.
4070 Super, is it?
No.
TI?
Nope.
Just 4070?
Yep. Base 4070. So like the pants one, the cheap one, the rubbish one.
It's honestly, it's like the difference of trying to make an analogy for like console games. When GTA 5 came out on PS3, and then if you were to play it now on PS5,
yes,
like the visual fidelity difference and the performance
huge.
difference is that kind of bigger step. It's like the PS6 version, and you coined a beautiful phrase. It is the definitive way to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
On PC.
Yeah.
Now, again, you say that sentence a few years back. It doesn't even make sense.
No.
The definitive way to play Final Fantasy VII is on PC.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's mad.
It's a console game.
Yes.
It was developed for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Definitive way to play it is on a PC rig.
Because on PlayStation, it's like potato mode.
Awful.
And it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And on PC, you've still got DualSense, full DualSense support.
Full DualSense is upsetting.
And then I'm running this at 4K 60 with DLSS, which is like nailed on. Whereas on even PS5 Pro, you're using Pisser, which has its flaws.
Massive flaws.
You know, so yeah, playing on the PC, like 4K 60, I'm running at like 66% DRS with DLSS on. So it's going somewhere between 1440p and 4K, probably around that 1800p mark. Uncapped, I'm getting like 80 FPS at 4K, but I've capped it personally at 60. So I'm playing at 4K 60 locked, and it's fantastic.
Stunning.
And I'm not even using an expensive graphics card.
No.
You know, like it's mad just because of the upscaling techniques.
I would be as bold as to argue that it looks as good on the Ally X as it does on your Ally X handheld.
Yes.
As the PS5 does look on your TV.
Yeah.
Like if you were to like your experience of it, obviously you're running a much lower resolution on the Ally X, but the screen's tiny. It's a 7-inch screen on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Compared to you're playing on your 40, 50-inch TV at home on the PS5, I would argue they look and perform the same.
I was going to say, I'd say it looks better on the Ally.
That's ridiculous.
Purely because on the PlayStation, you've got no choice of
You can
settings.
do like resolution sharpening and stuff on the
exactly.
Ally,
So I did a video
of
the game running and my best settings, right, for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the handheld, not running through my eGPU.
Yeah.
So this is just purely from the handheld. I went through all the settings and I've told you like what I would use, even though I'm not playing this handheld, I'm playing it on the TV, but I tested it and blah, blah, blah. When I was looking at PS5 footage on performance mode, you have no choice of anything. It's just performance mode.
On. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Vaseline smear. There's no sharpening. There's nothing you can do.
No.
And I was running the game at 720p with 50% resolution up to that much drop. So what is that? I don't know, less than 540p?
Yeah.
Yeah, 480p, something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe even 360p.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah. So running at 360p.
That's a big dynamic jump.
Yeah. But whilst it looked pants, like I can choose all the settings and I can hide it. I can mask it.
Yeah.
And backing out and putting RIS, the AMZ resolution image sharpening on to maximum, which is kind of a no-no with sharpening. But you put it on 100%, go back to the game, it looks good.
For a handheld?
Sharp.
7-inch?
Sharp.
Yeah.
It's not potato like smear.
Yeah.
It is sharp.
And I think obviously that was the biggest criticism by far with the PS5 version, especially the base PS5 version, was the performance mode. It was just a Vaseline smear, which is
It's horrible.
Which is a consequence of a very small resolution being outputted to a very large display.
With no option of tweaking it, which I understand why, because it's aimed at console gamers. You want one or two options, but there should be like some flexibility.
Something.
There should be like advanced mode if you press start or something, and then have a drop down so you can tailor it to look a bit better.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like you have the on-off option.
Yes.
But actually advanced mode.
Yes.
And it recommended you need to know what the hell you're doing when you're tweaking with this.
Yeah.
But like resolution sharpening and stuff, which wouldn't be like inbuilt sharpening wouldn't be outlandish to put on a PS5.
No, it's there already. It's just locked out.
Yeah. So I find it deeply, as a console gamer, I find it deeply frustrating that the definitive way to play my favorite game is not on the platform it was designed for or sold at £70 that I paid for it at launch.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for the PC launch?
My uncle, he said he got it for £33.
Bought it for you?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
CD key?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good of him.
Yeah.
But even not a CD keys sale, how much is it?
I think it was pre-order price.
It wasn't full. It wasn't a full £70 game.
No, it was 50 quid, I think. £50, I think, and it was pre-ordered price discounted at 45.
So there's a real problem, right? That's starting to really emerge itself.
Yeah.
Where, and for more reasons that we'll talk about in a minute, there's this migration happening to PC gaming from gamers that are frustrated. But the real problem there is like you can access this game for less than it costs on the PlayStation, get a better experience. I mean, hardware costs are kind of comparable, especially when you're looking at PS5 Pro.
Yeah. PC is always going to be more expensive.
Yes.
But it is comparable. Yeah.
But also, PC is you go in as deep as you want.
Yes, exactly. That's why I mean, like, you can build a PS5 Pro. I did it. When the PS5 Pro launched, I did a run-up, rig, and you can build the tower. Okay, you don't have the... and people were saying this in comments and stuff. Oh, well, you don't have a desk, you don't have a monitor. You've already got a TV and a controller.
You don't have any of those things for your PlayStation either.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Your PlayStation's just sat on the floor at the moment.
Exactly. So that's
you don't have a sofa.
Yeah.
What is
you don't have a house. Like, what?
You're not paid for electricity.
Yeah, you're not even alive. Like, what?
What are you eating?
Yeah. Like, so ignore all the accessories, because let's assume you've got a TV.
Yeah.
You don't need a PC monitor to put a PC on, as we're doing.
Yeah.
So you can make a PS5 Pro equivalent for roughly around the same price as a PS5 Pro.
Which is infinitely more, as we've talked about ad nauseum. More customizable, you can sell bits, you can add bits, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you can upgrade it.
My point being is, just on the games are typically always cheaper on PC.
Yes.
Because of the so many deals that always happen.
Yeah.
Just look at the Steam library. It's constantly the sales.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a great example. It's just launched on PC and it's not the same price as it is on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that, like 20%, 30% cheaper?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And you're getting a better version of the game.
Yes. Yeah. And this is actually better because they've improved lighting. You know, they've actually changed stuff
now
for the PC.
Square invested massive amounts into this game. It was a huge development, and on PlayStation, the only sales figure they announced, firstly, was it was the best-selling game of February.
Yeah.
Yet it only launched in the last day of February. But February last year, there was very little else that was released.
Yeah. So it didn't have much competition.
And obviously, all the fans like me are going to pre-order the hell out of that game. So of course it's the best-selling game of February.
Yeah.
But it's been widely accepted that commercially it was a flop on PlayStation.
They even said publicly that it didn't sell as much as they wanted it to.
And as a consequence, or at least part of the reason why, Square...
Totally the reason.
Yeah, they've disassociated themselves from that exclusive tie that they had to PlayStation. The timed exclusive contract they had, all the Final Fantasy releases would be PlayStation Day 1. They've moved away from that now. They've said that future releases will be available on as many platforms as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Within the first week of Rebirth being on PC, it broke the Final Fantasy franchise record for its first weekend. Steam database, 40,000 concurrent players in its first week. It's like massive for them.
Yeah.
And that's a big release just in general.
Yeah.
It's not like record breaking, but
no,
it's a big release for a single player game.
That's been out a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what it shows is that there's a huge appetite for it on multi-platform. It's hugely successful multi-platform. And for those people playing it on multiple platforms, it's cheaper and it's far, far better.
Yes.
Like generation leap better.
Yeah, it is unbelievable the difference between seeing what it looked like on PS5, which most people have. If you've got a PS5, you probably have the 5, not the Pro, you know, and most people are probably playing in performance mode.
Yeah.
Like, that looked like Nintendo Switch.
It did.
You know?
So here's a bigger thing. Xbox, they've gone multi-platform day one for everything.
Yes.
For like the past year or so now, maybe a bit longer actually. Yeah. And going forward, they're like, PlayStation, pushing Nintendo, hard. But definitely PC because of Game Pass day one. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And everyone points at it and goes, what's the point of the Xbox then? Because there's no exclusivity. I'm going to turn it around and say, what's the point of the PlayStation? Because it's a far worse and more expensive experience.
Yes. Yeah, I get you.
And, well, they don't have exclusivity either because it's now multi-platform everything. You have to wait a little bit.
Yes.
But you'll have a cheaper and a way better experience. What's the point of the PlayStation? Why have I got a PS5?
The thing that gets me with PC gaming, especially when you look at Sony bringing over their games now to, you know, PC, because they're doing it as well with Spider-Man and blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about game prices being 70 on the PlayStation. You've now locked that copy, your entitlement to play that on the PlayStation.
Yes.
And that's it. Unless the PS6 is backwards compatible, and then you can play that. But let's pretend it's not, for whatever reason. I know it will be, but whatever. You know, that disc or digital version is for that system.
Yeah.
With PC, and this is what I kind of touched on earlier, where I've bought loads of games and never played them. I buy the game, it's there forever.
It's on your Steam library.
I could buy 20 PCs.
Yeah.
I could buy a PC every year for the next 20 years, and it will work on all of them.
I know we've said it before on the podcast, but there was a moment in which I realised that PC gaming is far, far superior, and it's a really incidental, weird one.
Yeah, Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. What was it?
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that your Half-Life 2 game was there. It was that your saves were there from like
2005 or something.
Yeah, whenever it was, maybe even before that. It was like, holy hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I can find my copy of Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
I definitely can't find my saves unless I've got a memory card.
I was going to say, if you've got a memory card that's not degraded, you know.
It just, the superiority there, it's for anyone who's been in PC gaming forever, it's been obvious and you've all been saying it.
Yeah.
But I just have to say, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a line in the sand moment for me.
Yeah.
Because it hurts me personally. Of like, what did I do?
It's a stab in the back, isn't it?
Yeah. And I would argue that the PS5 Pro was launched with Final Fantasy VII. That was the big bloody thing that they did about it. Look how good this game looks now.
Yes. Yeah.
How many PS5 Pros were sold because of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? I would argue there's going to be a fair amount of them.
Yeah, probably.
People wanting to play it in a more definitive version.
To see it.
but it's still not as good as it is on the PC, and yet
Yes.
it's cheaper on PC.
Yeah, to buy and own forever, that you'll be able to play across systems, like across these handhelds. If Sony bring out like a Sony handheld, you probably have to buy it again.
Possibly.
You know, like potentially, especially if you've got a disc version, then you absolutely have to buy it again, get a digital one. With PC, it doesn't matter what iteration, I've got access to that game forever. You know, and it costs me less and it's going to look better. And especially when I upgrade the hardware in, say, 15 years and I go, you know what? I really want to play Rebirth again.
Yeah.
And then it's going to look amazing on my 12K 120 screen.
I get, we kind of framing this like PC won the console war or whatever. I hate the console war idea anyway, but
we're leaning into
it now. Xbox admitted, I won't say defeat, they just ejected themselves from the argument.
They took a sidestep, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they did the right thing.
I think they saw this coming.
Yeah.
And they were like, do you know what? Game Pass on PC, well, because they're Microsoft, it makes loads of sense.
Yeah.
But I think there was a kind of a looking forward and going, more people are spending more money on PC gaming than they are on console gaming. We know that because they're Microsoft.
Yeah.
So bringing our Xbox games to PC is actually a bit of a win-win for us. We kind of control both platforms anyway, so that's not a bad thing. And then it's like, well, actually, if we're letting it to PC, we might as well let it to PlayStation as well.
Yes.
And they're just coining this phrase of like, well, you're playing on Xbox because you're playing Starfield or whatever it is, Fallout. You're playing on Xbox, like, it's a bit of a stretch. But
yeah.
I guess they'll be saying soon, if you play Call of Duty, you're playing on Xbox.
Yes.
No matter where you're playing it.
Well, providing that you're playing it on anything other than a PlayStation, then it's an Xbox, isn't it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Phil Spencer talking a lot this week about the future of that as well. Firstly, on the games, he was just kind of doubling down like, our games are going to be multi-platform. They just are. We still love our hardware and we still think it's the definitive way to play our games, which I disagree with.
Yeah.
But I get it. And the hardware is a compelling offering. It's usually very reasonably priced.
Yes.
Power-wise, pound for pound, it outperforms a PlayStation. But things like the backwards compatibility of the discs and stuff, I think it's a compelling offer if you're going to buy a console.
I was going to say, it's a compelling offer for average gamers that don't want to buy a PC or faff. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can go to the shop, they can go to Tesco or like their supermarket and just go, I'll have that. Do you know what I mean?
The really cool thing is like, you can have the latest Xbox, but you can go into your local Games Exchange, CEX or whatever, pick up that Xbox 360 game that you loved and pop it in, and 99% of them will probably work.
It's a win, isn't it?
That's really cool.
Yeah, massive.
But they're saying, you know, that's just a small part of what Xbox actually is now. We don't care if you want to play it on your phone, if you want to play it on your Ally X, you want to play it on your PC. We want that game to be playable everywhere. And if you've got multiple of those, we want it to go with you.
Yeah.
And we'll continue also doing our work with Nintendo and with PlayStation. Nintendo will continue being a console forever and being a walled garden. Yeah. Because Nintendo isn't a console. Nintendo is a platform.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a publisher.
Yes, absolutely. And they kind of need to stay small to stay relevant and big in a way. You know, they would get lost otherwise, I feel, because the many Xbox games and PlayStation games are across borders.
The same kind of things.
Yeah. And then it all sort of mixes with PC. It's like the triangle and then Nintendo in the middle. Yeah. Just like, you know.
We'll do our own thing.
Yeah.
But beyond the games, he was actually then talking about operating systems, which is actually the really pertinent bit about PC gaming kind of winning going forward. We've talked about it a lot with the handhelds.
Yes.
The desperate need for there to be a gaming-orientated operating system.
Absolutely.
We coined it as XboxOS.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I heard him say Xbox operating system, and I was like, they're going to do it. They're going to call us XboxOS. For those of you that didn't catch up on it or missed the news video or whatever, he said, firstly, it's the central focus of the Windows team is the gaming operating system.
Yes.
We need an operating system for these PC handhelds and these gaming devices that removes all the unnecessary things that are currently there in Windows.
Oh.
Exactly what we said.
Oh!
Yes. And he said, interestingly, if you look at the Xbox operating system,
Oh yeah.
that is built off a Windows backbone.
Oh really? Oh.
Exactly what we said. Right?
Oh yeah.
This is
Okay,
amazing.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's built off a Windows backbone, which is obvious because Microsoft made it.
Yeah.
So of course it's Windows.
Yeah.
So putting an Xbox shell over the top of Windows currently would be quite an easy thing to do and would make a lot of sense. Much like, this is his quote, much like how Steam of SteamOS over the top of Linux.
Oh.
And on those systems, if you still need to use Linux, you can window out and change or alter anything that you may choose or need to do, much like you'll be able to do with an Xbox operating system on Windows.
Oh, that sounds exactly like what we had been talking about. And everyone's been commenting going, you're wrong. No.
It's conjecture.
You'd never do that.
Well, yes, everything's conjecture until it's confirmed. But when the head of Microsoft Gaming is talking about it, it's a bit more than conjecture.
Yeah.
When they do that, when Xbox OS does hit...
It's going to change PC gaming again.
There was just a moment when I was listening to that interview, and it was a great interview with, I want to shout out the channel Gaming Tag or Gaming Tag Radio or something. I'm sorry I got it wrong and I've forgotten. It's a really good channel. I hadn't come across them before. They're big. Anyway, I wanted to give them a shout out because it was a great interview. Anyway, there was a light bulb that went off with this that I hadn't considered before, and maybe it was stupid of me not to consider it. I had been all out about PC handhelds because that's kind of where we sit. Handheld gaming is kind of like what we're kind of focused on. And primarily the Ally X, because it's what we've both got. It's like, this needs to happen. It's got to be a handheld operating system. And I was like, it's going to be a handheld operating system. And then when he's talking about it, it's got to be focused on gaming. I was like, oh shit, this is PC gaming.
Yeah.
There's something that's snuck in.
Yes.
How do they make the entire PC gaming ecosystem more accessible?
Yes.
And more of a console-like experience. Like,
that's I should have probably made my thoughts about it more clear, because that's exactly what I've been thinking this whole time.
No, I've been like, it's all about handhelds. But
well,
it's like,
it stems from that.
Yes.
But then it completely changes everything everywhere for PC gaming.
Like you were saying, most people, or a lot of people that PC game tend to like boot into Steam Big Picture mode and have this kind of console-like experience. And now so much controller support is available. They'll once they've booted in. But all of this stuff about Windows being gamer friendly, it will do things like remove like the login screen, have controller support from booting. Hold on a second. They are turning PCs into consoles that you can still control like PCs if you choose to.
If you want to, So it means you can have little mini PCs or anything hooked up to your TV.
But for little Billy,
yes,
suddenly you have an affordable, customizable, high-end gaming machine.
Yes.
You have an Xbox.
Yeah. And that's where this is an Xbox has been leading up to, I feel.
That's where it will go.
It will stop pointing at all PCs, whether it's a £500 PC or a $5,000 PC. This is an Xbox.
And when that moment clicks, everyone's going to go, oh, we were laughing at Xbox, but actually it's Microsoft Gaming.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
And they were just ahead of the game with this.
Yes. Yeah, I fully believe they are. Once they started pushing this direction, I even a couple of years ago or whatever, I was thinking, I feel like they're doing something big here that's like ahead of the curve that no one's really understanding yet. And now I feel like we're right at the precipice of big
Xbox
change.
isn't a console, it's a platform.
Yeah.
And yes, they make a console inside
like
that
omnipresent.
platform. Yeah. And if there's every possibility, first of all, that they can screw it up.
Oh, yeah.
It's Microsoft.
Yeah, they might do, yeah.
And it's the Windows team.
Yeah.
It's hit and miss.
Yeah. If they've hired anyone from Ubisoft from all these layoffs lately, we're going to be in big trouble. There's going to be bugs everywhere.
If they hired anyone from the Vista team, we're in tune.
Well, hopefully they're all in retirement.
What was that horrible windowed one? Was it 7?
Oh, that was 8.
8.
Yeah, there was all the tiles everywhere.
They've hired anyone from that team, we're doomed. If the weather app is there by default, I'm throwing it out the window. What's the weather in your location? He's giving it to me in Fahrenheit. Honestly, why is this happening?
What even is that measurement?
Here's the news near you in California.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. What?
Yeah. there's every possibility they can screw up. But if they get this right, if the pacing of it's right and the execution's right, and they delete OneDrive,
just stop marketing that.
It suddenly makes the whole thing make sense. PC gaming becomes super, super accessible.
Mm-hmm.
The handhelds like the ROG Ally X and all the others like the Lenovo Legion Go and stuff are incredible, compelling offerings. That it could be your standalone device. You can have a hybrid console from it, or for those with deeper pockets, it can be part of a bigger setup.
Yeah, like a companion device.
A companion device that is a perfect companion device because the same game, same save state is available.
And the same operating system now.
Same operating
system. So that's going to literally like be like playing on your Xbox and then leaving with your Xbox. There's not going to be a disparity there between them.
The compelling offering that is, it could change everything.
Oh, yeah.
And for certain would mean PC gaming comes out weirdly as the winner of the console wars.
Yeah, yeah.
When it was never part of it.
Unless Nintendo make Nintendo OS. I want a PC running Nintendo OS. Just plays Mario. That's it.
One thing I would be deeply intrigued to see what will happen, and we said about it when we were talking about SteamOS might be in trouble with Xbox operating systems coming, is if it affects the Xbox console.
Yeah.
If they decide to install it on there as well, and if they make the Xbox console like a cheap gaming PC.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. I fully believe Xbox as a console will remain as the console. That's what you're paying for. It's a budget PC. And I don't think that there's any need for that to be opened. Like,
but why not? What I just mean like Xbox, the next Xbox.
Yeah.
Whatever they call it. Why not have the same operating systems they have on there that's available on the handhelds? And why not go, do you know what? We're all about multi-platform, so let's actually put these other launchers in here as well.
Because
does it make it too confusing? Is that what
it's too confusing? It's meant to be like fun for the whole family, like, so it's meant to be easy. It's also their Steam Deck, right? So the Steam Deck, Valve don't care about like the thing.
Yeah.
They want you to buy games on it.
Yes.
So it runs Steam, and you're going to buy games through Steam. If Xbox, they're making a loss on these Xboxes. Every Xbox made is like a loss.
Yeah.
They don't care about the console. They'll just give them out for free because they want you to buy games from the Xbox store or go to your shop and buy the disc. They want that. So that's why they don't care about the loss. If you start putting launchers on a home system,
they lose the game sales.
They lose the sales. If you go on your Xbox, go onto Steam and then buy the game, they've just lost 30%. Plus the game's going to be cheaper anyway.
Yeah.
So now they've just lost even more money, which makes the loss of the product, the console itself, the physical thing, more of a hit in the gut. So
unless they do an Apple move and charge the platforms regardless because you're using our operating system.
I think it's going to be...
I don't think they'll do that.
No, if you've got money or you've got a PC already, make it into an Xbox now with XboxOS. And do what you want, put freaking Steam on it, and all this stuff, which will be a possibility. Everyone that didn't understand our video prior, this is going to be Windows with a skin on it.
It's just an Xbox shell.
SteamOS, but Windows.
Yeah. It's just to make it more gaming orientated.
Yes. So there will be Steam on it.
Yeah.
Because people were going, Microsoft will never allow it.
Yeah. Ubisoft launch is going to, Epic's going to be on there.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is on the Xbox console, no. Yeah. Like that is going to be like Nintendo, like PlayStation. That's going to be the Xbox OS only. And then if you want everything else, then you're on PC. I fully believe that they'll keep it that way because it's just a money machine for average consumer Joe Public, little Billy. Like you buy the Xbox from your shop and you buy the games for it. And unless you're a proper gamer, like I don't mean it like in a derogatory tone. I mean just mean like an advocate, like an enthusiast. That wants more. Then you can go the PC route and experience this.
Regardless, it's really intriguing to see.
And I think the funny thing is on Xbox OS, you'll be able to load up PlayStation games.
Yes, yes,
with a DualSense controller.
Yes.
So if you're playing on Xbox OS with a DualSense controller playing Spider-Man 2 or Final Fantasy 7.
You can take it one step further. You're playing, you're using your PC to play a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
I want 10 year ago Andy to have his head blown by this.
Yeah.
You're using your PC to play a current gen PlayStation game with a DualSense controller on Xbox operating system.
Exactly, yeah. What? Like, the future's wild. I really want to see Phil Spencer sat there with the DualSense when they like launch it.
I think he will, just to troll it, just for the laughs. Like the hilarity of it. And that's why I think when you take a step back and go, it's crazy Xbox removing its exclusivity for all its games. You go, I don't know, I just think they got a glimpse at the future. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
Actually, it's the smart play.
But I think even Sony know that, and that's why this is started creeping into PlayStation PC. That's why I sold my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I had faith that actually, like, you've got to move with the times.
Yes.
Everything changes, you know, and I think Xbox have always been in a weird, like, they don't know who or what they are.
Yeah, they lost their way.
Like, I don't even know if they ever had it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they kind of thought they had it, but then lost it.
Like 360, I think the original one was like exciting and new.
Yes, yeah, it was.
And it had Halo.
Yes.
And that was enough.
Yeah, that was it.
But back then, that was enough.
It was, back then.
360 came along and I was like, oh, I get it. They're like the budget offering.
Yeah.
They're like the cheaper version of PlayStation. Yeah. Same games available on most of it. And they've got cool games that you don't have on PlayStation. Mm-hmm. So you jump into it, they all set fire to themselves.
I was going to say, and then they all break.
Yeah. I've talked about that a lot. Mine set fire to itself a lot. And then the next one came out, which was the One, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they lost their way.
Yeah, they did lose it
the
then.
Kinect, and they weren't sure.
Kettle,
it was like it's home
pan.
entertainment. Oh, it's actually a Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Wii as well, because of the Kinect camera, and it's also a PlayStation 2.
What game that was, but
you know, the milking game. You're right there. They totally lost their way.
Yeah,
they want to focus on multiplayer games, but also they want to focus on being a DVD player.
Yeah,
it just was a bit of everything.
It was, they were all over the place, and they didn't know what or who they should be.
And since that point, they've been lost until Game Pass really took off.
Yes.
And like Game Pass PC really took off, and they started bringing that all together. And I think the moment it really made sense what their future was when they started releasing day one Game Pass.
Yeah, on everything. Yeah.
And I think that was Starfield, wasn't it? It was the first big title. It was day one Game Pass.
Big
everything
drop. Yeah.
And so when that happened, it was like, now it's starting to make sense.
Yes, and then especially with that, like day one on PC and Xbox, and now it's going to be everything's an Xbox. Everything's starting to make sense now.
And you looked at the developer direct that happened last week, was it, or the week before, when we saw Doom: The Dark Ages. Doom: Dark Ages, we've obviously had Ninja Gaiden 4 and
2 Black.
South of Midnight and Clair Obscur.
Yep.
That French JRPG.
Something 33.
Yeah. Expedition 33.
That was it. Yeah.
But those 4 games deep dived, and there was an announcement right at the start, just a text thing said, all these games will be available Game Pass day one.
Insane.
On Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
And then at the end of each of them, it kind of reaffirmed that. That is insane.
Absolute madness.
It's madness. But Xbox's games are all going to be available on PC day one. If you've got Game Pass.
Yes, but if you want to pay full price, then good luck if you've got a PlayStation, because they're also coming to PlayStation.
Yes,
You've got to pay full price. You've got to pay
70 quid. Or you can just have a subscription.
Yeah.
And you can pay 70 quid and play it on and then go back to the Final Fantasy 7 point.
Yeah.
Pay £70 and play it on your PlayStation and have a half-baked experience. It'll still be fun.
Yeah.
Like, I still had fun playing Rebirth, but it was half-baked. Or you can play it on PC.
Yeah.
And have an insane experience.
Yeah.
That's totally customizable. Oh, the fog's affecting performance. Guess what? Turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, having like high res textures on everything. I'll put it to dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You can tailor it to your system and get a better experience out of it.
And each game will be slightly different.
Absolutely. And I feel like Sony have kind of started getting a bit hot on their feet here and starting to try to follow suit in little ways, like bringing games to PC.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, and the gaps like getting shorter.
Yes, that's a really interesting point. We bring up Spider-Man 2 and Rebirth, I suppose, as well. Spider-Man 2 is out was out today as we're filming this.
Yeah.
Or yesterday, was it?
It was the other day. Yeah, it was yesterday or...
It's out recently.
Last month. I don't know, last week. About a year ago.
I'm sure it was yesterday.
It might have been yesterday.
Which shows you when we filmed this.
Yes, it does, yeah.
We could just say any day. They don't know when we filmed it.
Yeah, exactly. This was filmed on a Tuesday.
Was it?
No.
Spider-Man 2, it's... I wanted to say that's 12 months after it came out on PS5. It's come out on PC.
Just less.
Just less, maybe?
It was less, because I think that was the big hoo-ha online was, this is under a year.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you're looking at
it was a long time.
ages.
Yeah, big gaps,
big gaps. Yeah.
Rebirth was the 28th of February 24.
Yeah.
That it came out on PlayStation as an exclusive. And that obviously has been out now for 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
So that was like 10.5 months.
Yeah, exactly.
That window is like
getting shorter. Yeah.
And I think, well, Square obviously saw it with how affected the sales were of Rebirth. Poor sales figures. I think Spider-Man 2 probably did very well on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, that's like one of the reasons you buy a PlayStation.
Yeah, and it did look very good, especially on the Pro. It looked very good.
Yeah. Spider-Man games do tend to be very
Just
good.
wait until you see it on PC, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane, especially the ray tracing stuff. It's going to be ridiculous.
Well, we've talked at length before. I think we did a whole podcast about PlayStation PC's biggest strength being...
Yes.
I've just forgotten the name. Who's the people that do all the ports?
Oh, Nixies.
Nixies.
Definitely their biggest.
So they do magical work.
There was a big, I haven't watched it yet. There was a video they did on all the enhancements they've done to Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, yeah. I'm not watching it because I'm playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah, because it'll make you want to buy it.
I want to buy it, and
but
I'm not.
That in itself should be an alarm bell to PlayStation owners. If you care to have the very best experience.
Yeah.
I would argue probably the majority don't worry.
No.
But there's going to be a lot of you that were like me that are console diehards that are now getting super frustrated at the kind of watered down experience I'm getting for a more expensive version of the game.
Yeah. Paying more for less.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Oh, but your PC will be more expensive than your PlayStation. Here's the other part that you're not adding into this equation.
Yeah.
The price difference of the games you buy in the lifetime of that console, let's say it's an average of £30 a game difference.
Yeah.
How many games do you buy in a generation?
Yeah.
I don't know, 20?
Yeah.
7 years? 20? That doesn't sound that many.
No.
You add them all up, that price difference part, and add it into the cost of your console, it's way more expensive.
Yeah, and the PC is a PC, so you can do literally anything you
want to
ever
use it for
want.
work, you can.
Yeah. It's also an Xbox.
It's also an Xbox.
And it's also a PC gaming hub for all the other cheap games.
Yes, and that was going to be my final point, because Dino Crisis, the other thing that happened this week, which is, for those of you that slept under a rock or are less than 30 years old, came out, Dino Crisis 1 was 2002, 3, something like that.
Dino Crisis 1 was PS1.
Oh, Dino Crisis 2 was 2002, 3, because that was the bridge between PS1 and PS2. So it came out on both, didn't it? But it was late 90s.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2000. Anyway, it was that era. They're like 20 years old.
I think it was 90s.
Games. Survival horror.
Yeah.
Unreal experiences. Awesome games. But obviously, they're kind of lost to the sands of time.
Yeah, never been remade or anything like that.
GOG have come out with, well, we'll just port them to PC.
Yeah.
And there you have it. Dino Crisis 1 and 2, or a bundle of them both.
Yeah.
And that was another kind of alarm bell that went off in my head. It's like, PlayStation refused to do backwards compatibility. They could have done. The PS5 Pro could have been the definitive PlayStation. Could have had backwards compatibility, and you sell it for £1,000. But it's really hard to do PS3 games on it. I know, but do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Emulate them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do it. I've got a lot, and I can't be alone, of a lot of old games that I want to play.
Big collection of physical titles. Yeah.
So this backwards compatibility thing, especially with PlayStation games, is lost to time, but there's loads of games that aren't. You go to the PC world, you want to play Half-Life? You can.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what do you mean you can? You just can.
Yeah, you just can.
Oh, how much is it? Oh, it's like £3.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, just can. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to play Dino Crisis? We've just done it, and it's actually slightly remastered as well. It looks quite good.
Yeah.
How much is it? Oh, it's £8.
Yeah, brand new release.
What? £8? Oh, buy
£8.
both. 15.
Yeah. And with GOG, for everyone that goes, oh, but it's all digital, you'll lose your license, blah, blah, blah. GOG, right? They're called, it's good old games.
Yeah. What's their tagline? It's about persevering games, isn't it? Preserving them.
And with GOG, they are DRM free or whatever.
Yes.
So it means once you've got that copy, they can't take it away from you.
Yeah.
If you download it and store a backup somewhere, doesn't matter if they unlink it from your account, you've got that game.
Yeah.
You can launch it without a login or anything, right? Like that. That's it. It's yours.
And that's the thing with PC gaming in general, because digital only has been the only way for 15 years.
It's been a long time now.
Maybe coming on to 20 years, maybe.
Yeah, it's coming up to 15, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, no, probably long. Oh, Christ, yeah.
I would say it was like 2005.
Yeah,
we stopped seeing big
I think
cases.
I think the last time I bought a physical disc for PC probably was 2000. When was the Prince of Persia game? 2008. The cel-shaded Prince of Persia, the last Prince of Persia game that was made. It was 2008.
There you go. Yeah, so coming up to 20 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, because that's been the case for so long, things like the preservation of your version of that game has been a central focus for gamers and the platforms for all of that time. Because obviously it was an alarm bell at first. Well, what happens if I don't have my disc in that giant box they used to come in?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find ways of sorting that out. And anyone who's got any kind of games in their Steam library will tell you that games from 20 years ago are still there.
Yeah, and the benefit of it being digital is they get updated.
Yes.
So when you download it, you're not getting a dusty old disc that's out of date that won't run on your system.
And stuff.
Like, it won't even run because it'll be like Windows 95 or whatever, you know. Now, when you download it, it's the most up-to-date. And sometimes developers just randomly update a game from like 20 years ago just to make sure it's compatible or whatever. So they just work.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird. And if it doesn't work, you just go on Reddit and you'll find a workaround.
Yeah.
You know, like it takes 2 minutes, done.
So that preservation of games thing, that ability to play old games, which is obviously attractive to a lot of people still.
Yeah.
Otherwise, GOG wouldn't exist.
Yes.
It wouldn't be releasing Dino Crisis.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, yeah.
It's the advantage is that specifically PlayStation refused to embrace.
Yeah.
That's the kind of frustration, I think.
But this is why I think all of these things, and probably being forced by Microsoft hand, and the underperforming sales, I guess, on the PlayStation, is why they started trickling these games out more frequently to the PC, giving PC support for DualSense controllers.
Unreal.
With an app, so that you can actually like firmware update. So you don't even need a PlayStation. You could literally just buy a DualSense controller and just use it on the PC, PC games.
They even full support for DualSense Edge as well, which is kind of like...
So you could buy that controller and not even have a PS5, just use it on PC.
Just don't buy a SCUF controller, but whatever.
Yeah, but you could do that. And so they've given that support. They've releasing games more frequently, and hopefully it closes the gap. I want to see day one PlayStation 5 and PC. Like, I want that future. But then they've also just dropped the unlinking of PSN accounts on PC, which is huge.
Huge. It was a big backlash that happened. It's Sony doing what they do best and kind of trying to making things a walled garden. There was a big backlash when they brought it in, because it wasn't straight away that you had to do that. And then Helldivers 2 released. Yep. And then they brought it in.
Yep. Helldivers 2 was a phenomenon. Like, thousands.
Multi-platform phenomenon. And they weren't expecting it. But then they brought in it being mandatory to have the PlayStation Network login, which meant people in certain countries couldn't access the game anymore because PlayStation Network isn't available in, I think, Brazil and a couple of other territories.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of territories.
Yeah. So suddenly the game had been taken away from these people.
Yep.
And for those of those PC players that did have access but didn't have a PlayStation account yet, were like, well, I don't want a PlayStation account.
Yeah.
I don't want
to play the game.
I just want to play the game that I bought. They finally listened. It took them a good year to do it.
Yes.
They finally listened, and now it's optional.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2.
And the new releases at least.
Yeah, they only talked about 4 games with this
It was
announcement.
The Last of Us, wasn't it?
Last of Us 2 remastered,
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn remastered, God of War Ragnarok, and Spider-Man 2. That it'll be optional to use a PlayStation Network account. If you do, we'll give you some cool cosmetics. So a kind of win-win if you've got an account already.
Yeah, it's fine. Like
log in and get the free stuff.
Like just because I've got an account and I'm in a country that allows me and I don't care. Like
if you don't, and you didn't want Sony to have your details for whatever reason,
yes, because you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I mean PlayStation have lost details in the past quite a few times.
Yes,
but now you don't have to worry. Hopefully they roll it out to all their games.
I think going forward now, they will. I don't know if they'll go back. I feel like they should.
The only thing I can imagine will be an issue slightly will be the multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Because that was their argument about Helldivers.
Yeah, it was that.
Because it's multiplayer, we need you to access.
Yeah.
So there's something you need to step through on the serving side of things. But
either way, I think going forward, this is a good move because Sony are pretty stubborn. Like they're headstrong in their ways, like they want you to do it their way.
They're embracing PC way more than I thought they would.
And I think they're changing because of PC gaming.
Yeah.
Like if you rallied up against Sony and said, we don't want PSN, they would have been like, go buy an Xbox then.
Yeah, don't play the game.
Yeah. So, but now they're going, okay, maybe we're seeing actually loads more sales. If people aren't.
I'm still undecided on the rumors have gone away, which makes me think that maybe the idea has gone away.
Okay, yeah.
But the PlayStation launcher.
Yes,
PlayStation PC launcher. I'm still undecided as whether that's going to be a thing or not. The removing of the PlayStation Network makes me feel like it's not going to happen now.
Yeah. Yeah,
because obviously you're going to need a PlayStation Network account if they do a PC launch.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you do with Epic.
Yeah. You won't be able to log in without it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It really depends how much they want to embrace. I
guess it depends how much they're losing.
That's it. I mean, in Steam we know it's like 30%, isn't it? So that's going to be the same for everyone. But I could see it if they go, we're now doing PlayStation 5 games day one on PC. Exclusive to the launcher,
which I think will happen by the time we get to the PS6 generation.
Which is basically when you see those games launching on Epic, which I hate. I hate this with a burning passion because I don't want to buy my games on Epic. I want to buy my games on Steam.
Day one on Epic.
Like Alan Wake 2 being on Epic really hurts me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pisses me off. Like I'm like, why? Yeah. But you see exclusives where there's like a game launching on Epic. I'm just using them as a scapegoat. It happens a lot. Because it happens a lot. So, a game will launch on Epic and it will be there, like timed exclusivity, because they give the devs 100% revenue for 6 months or something, but it will be like a year contract on there. Something like that, right? Yeah. So they'll launch on Epic and then 12 months later, we'll then see it come on Steam. And it's the same with Ubisoft. They'll put stuff on Ubisoft Launcher or on Epic and then try and reap that. And Ubisoft actually came out and said, we're not doing that anymore. Yeah, because no one's buying our games. Because everyone's waiting for it to come on Steam on sale a year later.
And because Ubisoft are hemorrhaging money
as well. That too. But so they already know that that's a bad practice. So, but Sony don't care. Like if it means that everyone jumps in, signs into their account that they belovedly want you to do, and then get you to reap £70 sales where they take 100% of that day one on PC.
See, that's the part that makes me feel like it's going to happen.
I can see that happening.
And I think it will be. PlayStation PC launcher will exist. Day one releases will sit there at full price.
Yes.
For the same amount of time as they currently sit on PlayStation before they come to PC.
Absolutely. And after 1 year,
it'll come on to
Steam. Go to Steam at 50% off or whatever it will.
Which, unless you're a diehard fan of the game, I never understand why you rush to buy a single player game.
Yes.
Just wait. You've got other games you can play. Unless you're diehard into it.
Yes.
And then wait and it'll be reduced. Or you have a Game of the Year edition.
Or you have an uncle CD.
Uncle in Argentina who can get it for half price.
That's the winner PC right there.
There's loads more we can talk about, but it's going to be ad nauseum about it.
Yes.
PC gaming has accidentally won the console wars.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yes.
And I think this next year, 2025, is going to be incredibly eye-opening. XboxOS is going to happen this year. That feels nailed on.
Yeah.
If the Microsoft team, if that's their central focus, like Phil Spencer said.
Yeah.
that will be the beginning of everything changing.
It will be a huge change. And just as a side point for this, I know I've been a PC gamer since like the 90s, right? So for me, this is actually really exciting.
Yeah.
Because I never thought we would embrace this whole console thing. I never thought everything would come together in this one big gaming home, which I love. I hated this kind of fragmented. Yeah. Whereas with my wife, she's playing on an Ally. She often doesn't want to play because it's a bit of a faff to like open up like launchers and stuff. She's like, she'll pick up the Switch because it's just like on. Whereas when XboxOS is on there, she presses the home button and it loads up and her games are there. It's going to be so easy.
Yeah.
She'll definitely reach for it more then.
Yeah. And we'll see loads more. I know we'll see loads more people migrating into it.
Yeah.
We saw it already with the handhelds.
Yes.
The PC handhelds saw a lot. Steam Deck was the real start of it.
Yeah, it's the catalyst, wasn't it?
Yeah, we saw a lot of people migrating from console to it because it was very accessible, but suddenly you had this cool, all the versatility of PC gaming and the accessible games.
Yeah.
Imagine that kind of exploded out onto high-performing hardware that isn't as expensive as people were led to believe as well.
Yeah.
Especially as the consoles get more expensive. PS5 Pro, perfect example. Anyway.
Yes.
We're going around in circles. So I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yes.
What did you have for lunch?
Ooh.
Do you like Andy's jumper? All of the questions, the burning questions.
Do you like AJ's jumper? He's a bit sad today.
Sad boy.
He is a sad boy, yeah.
That's actually what it's called as well. I didn't realise
that. Did you not?
No.
Amazing.
Let us know down in the comments. Join in the conversation. We always love you doing that. And if you do want to talk to us directly, you can on Discord if you're a channel member.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so join the channel memberships and come and join the Discord. It's a fun place to be.
Yes.
You can get to see pictures of Andy's dog's balls as well.
Yeah,
and random, that for a while.
Random photos, thumbnails that I make that maybe don't make it on the channel.
Yeah, where Andy likes to stitch them up with my stupid faces, and sometimes they're even more stupid.
And sometimes there's random AI children on them.
There is. That's weird, isn't it?
That photo. Anyway, all of that and more over on our Discord.
And once you're down there digging around, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel because we need your validation.
Yes.
Really. And we're actually, weirdly, I felt weird saying this, we are closing in on a massive milestone.
I know.
It's going to happen sooner than you think.
Might do.
Should we start a 100k countdown already?
Oh!
It feels weird.
We just hit 75.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm being ambitious.
Yeah, we could do.
Well, there you go. Anyways, exciting stuff is happening.
Road to 100k.
All right. Do you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Switch 2 announcement.
Switch 2 announcement.
We're going to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are. We're going to see the Switch 2
in April.
Yeah, because my girlfriend, don't tell my wife, Samus Aran, right? Aran's
your girlfriend.
Uncle's Nintendo. Nintendo? Mario.
It is Nintendo.
No,
Mario.
Mario.
Right,
so, and Mario apparently has an in with Nintendo.
That would make sense.
And he gave us tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samus Aran, I mean, she's quite a good girlfriend, isn't she?
Yeah, she's good, yeah.
Bit strong.
Yeah, a bit strong. And she's always wearing this armor, so you can't do anything.
But can curl herself up into a small ball.
Yes. But if you go to the beach, then she's got a really good swimsuit.
I thought you meant if you go to the beach, you could use her as a volleyball.
Oh, you could. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could do that as well, yeah. I don't know how heavy it would be.
Yeah, so we're going to the Nintendo Switch launch event, which, and it's not any favoritism for us having a channel or anything. We applied, like the rest of the public did, as a family group.
Yes.
So we're now related according to Nintendo as well.
Yeah.
And they choose
I was really surprised. The day
shocked.
happened, I made a notification on my phone, right?
Yeah.
I know this is like after hours talking now, but whatever.
Bonus
so
content.
yeah, this is it. Members only. So I was like checking my phone and I was like, I haven't got an email. Because they said we'll email you on the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I haven't got anything, shame. And I thought I'll just log in, go to the little event bit.
Yeah.
Hit that. And it said draws pending. I was like, they haven't drawn it yet.
Yeah.
Thought nothing of it, did like the rest of my day. Towards the end of the day, I just was like, I'll just go back there and just hit refresh. And I didn't know what I was looking at. I was like, what? And then the thing that made me notice is in the bottom left, it said, if you can't make it, cancel your tickets here. I went, oh, what? I was like, AJ! And he wouldn't respond. So I rang him. I was like, AJ, I've got something to tell you.
I need to talk now.
Now, have you got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I was like, we've got tickets. I was like so hyped.
I forgot it was that day. I'll be honest, I was oblivious it was happening.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? It's today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to go hands-on.
Yeah, actually,
April.
so I do want to know, we'll talk about it more on the lead up. We'll probably do a podcast before and stuff. We'll talk about it because obviously it's going to be happening then.
Yeah.
But I do want to know if anyone's got any, like, anything they want to know that we can find out from the day. Any requests for units, I'll be selling them for £800. So if you want me to steal some for you, I'm taking orders.
Yeah, I'll be taking one.
How far do you reckon we could make it?
Probably about 3 foot.
3 foot, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a fun game to film.
The Nintendo ninjas will literally come from the like ceiling.
Emmys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not want to be chased by an Emmy.
I don't know what the event's going to be like. Like, are we going to be just like in an office room or something? Or is it going to be like all splashed up with like Nintendo Land everywhere? Because it's like, do you know what I mean? Because it's a public event.
I don't know.
But
I don't know what to expect. But
the time slot's only an hour.
It's in the XL in London, which is
a huge thing. And like, how many are they going to have? Like 10,000 units there. Like, how many people are in for this hour?
I reckon there's going to be about 500 people or so per hour.
Right, and we all just stood around one.
Just think, we've been to events at the XL before, like smaller expo-sized events. And you think about how big that room was. It's going to be one of those halls. It's quite big, not giant, but quite big.
No, it's a big hall.
You imagine like 500 or so people kind of filtering through.
Yeah,
maybe 100 switches.
Maybe
out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
I don't know.
I don't even know if we're allowed to take cameras yet.
I don't know. There's nothing. I looked
no
on
information.
There's no like T's and C's. There's nothing. It's just arrive here at this time with this QR code.
I feel like we've been invited to Willy Wonka's factory.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Are we going to have to jump down a pipe?
Eat some bubble gum.
Yeah. But I'm super hyped.
Yes, I'm really excited. Yeah, we are going to Willy Wonka's factory of Nintendo Switch 2 land.
Yes.
Anyway, that's enough for now.
Yes.
So until the next time,
Bye.
we love you. Goodbye.